Hit you with another one of them old phenomenal shits.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Undrlvld. My name is Chris. I appreciate you all being here and for the continued support. Just want to quickly remind everyone that our 500 subscriber giveaway is going on right now. So if you check the description down below or the pinned comment, you'll find a link to Gleam. You go to Gleam, you do the stuff, you get the entries. And in like 2 weeks or whatever, we'll get one of you people's Steam keys for Warhammer Vermintide 2, Civilization, and Outward. Again, thank you for all the support. But be sure, if you haven't already, click like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to keep getting this mediocre content that you've come to love and appreciate from this channel. Also, at some point during this week, I will be posting up another Sky Raiders of Abrax video. I'm gonna keep trying to do these little update videos for Sky Raiders because I'm excited for it, and I hope to get all of you excited for it as well. Also, I'm going to be wrapping up the Narador, the Withering Worm, our Archfey Warlock patron we've been making. I'm going to wrap that up probably next week. So yeah, that'll be done, and you'll have it for him. I learned a lot through that series in particular. So the next time I decide to make something with all of you, I'm definitely going to go about it in a different way. But yeah, it was still a lot of fun. So, let's get into this episode. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I'd like to take a second to thank 2 of my subscribers for requesting this video. Shout out to Bumble and Martin Bacan. Sorry if I butchered that last name. And I encourage anyone with a request for content to comment down below. Let me know, and so I can get to work. You know, I want to make videos that y'all want to see, but you know, I'm pretty much guessing if you guys don't tell me what you want. So we all know that druids are protectors of nature and all that jazz, binding their bodies and spirit to the land and drawing power from it. However, the Circle of the Blighted is an example of what happens when druids fail. Regardless of how the land gets corrupted or cursed, it directly impacts the druid, twisting their connection to nature. They become a reflection to the process of decay and their land is suffering from. So at level 2, you're going to get Defile Ground. As a bonus action, you get to corrupt a patch of land or an area of water. The corruption has a 10-foot radius, and it has to be within 60 feet of you. Lasts for about a minute, and it becomes difficult terrain to hostile creatures. Also, once a turn, when a creature takes damage while within the corrupted area, it takes an additional D4 necrotic damage. You may use another bonus action to move the corruption up to 30 feet. Flying creatures, of course, are unaffected because they're flying. And at 10th level, the corruption now takes up a 20-foot radius, and the damage becomes a D6. And at level 14, the damage goes up to a D8. You can only use this feature once a short or long rest. I like it. I think it's really cool. Because it's like a nice area of control, and it's a little more unique than like I think what you would see traditionally from a druid. And I mean, you're corrupted, you're getting your power from corruption. It makes sense to an extent that you would be able to corrupt. So thematically it makes sense, and it seems like a fun mechanic. Also at level 2, you get Blighted Shape. Your physical appearance starts to show the effects of the corruption. It gives you some examples of this, be it like black veins or whatever, but I'm sure you can express your corruption in any way you want. Just, you know, talk with your DM about it and come up with something creative. You also get proficiency with Intimidation, and while you're in Wild Shape, you also show the effects of the corruption. You gain gnarled spines that protrude from your body, so you get a +2 to your AC, and because of this, you gain 60 feet of dark vision, or if you already had dark vision, you gain an additional 60 feet. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this towards the end of the video, but half of it I like. I think it's cool that, you start to show the effects of the corruption. I think it's cool that you get proficiency in intimidation. It's the second part with the wild shape that I'm not completely on board with. I feel like they could have done something else and it would have made it much more interesting and synergized better with the class. But again, we'll talk more about that towards the end. Level 6, you get Call of the Shadow Seeds. When you damage a creature that is not an undead or a construct in your defiled grounds, you can use your reaction to summon a Blighted Sapling. You summon it within 5 feet of the creature, and it can attack the creature as part of the reaction. It also acts on your initiative. The Blighted Sapling remains in your service until it reaches 0 hit points, until the end of your next long rest, or you summon another sapling. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, regaining all uses upon a long rest. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the stat block for the sapling. Armor class is equal to 10 plus your proficiency bonus. Hit points is twice your druid level. Has a 30-foot movement speed like everything else. Vulnerable to fire. Resisted to necrotic and poison. Which, I mean, makes sense, all things considered. It's immune to blinded, deafened, and poisoned, and it has a blind sight of 60 feet. It understands the language you speak, but it doesn't say that it can actually talk, and it gets multi-attack at level 14. So, I like it. I think it's cool. I like that it synergizes with Defiled Grounds. I like when subclass features or anything really, I like when it's synergizes with things. Like, I like to feel like everything I'm doing has purpose and everything that I'm setting up is going to contribute to something else that I'm going to be doing. I like synergy. I'm a synergy kind of guy. Fell Conjuration is what you get at level 10. So any beast, fae, or plant you summon via a spell or class ability gets some nifty bonuses while being malformed and bloated with toxins. So it gets Blighted Resilience. The creature has immunity to necrotic and poison damage and the poison condition. Toxic Demise. When a creature is reduced to 0 hit points, it explodes with toxic mulch. Creatures within 5 feet of the exploding creature must make a Constitution saving throw against your spell DC or take necrotic damage based on the creature's challenge rating. You can also use an action to force the creature to explode. They also provide a table that I'm going to pop up in a sec that shows, the damage an enemy would take based on your summon's CR level. So I'm going to pop up the table. So, if the creature has a CR that's like a 4th or lower, it's a D4 of damage. If the CR is half, it takes a D6. CR of 1 or higher gets you a number of D8s of necrotic damage equal to the creature's challenge rating. If the creature has no challenge rating, it's a number of D6s equal to your proficiency bonus. Obviously, all of this is necrotic damage. I like it. Once again, it's like synergizing with your summons. I mean, you already have, like, you set up with your Defile, you get your little radius of corruption, you damage something, you summon your sapling, and now you have something else that synergizes. It's like everything is connected, and that's another reason why I have an issue with one of the subclass abilities, or at least half of it, but again, we'll get into that a little later. So finally, we get Incarnation of Corruption. So your physical form begins to show even more of the corruption. Examples of this is your skin grows ashen, eyes darken, or turn completely white. Again, you can express the corruption in any way that you want. Just talk to your DM about it to make sure it's cool. You get a bonus to your AC, this time not while in wild shape form. You get a +2 to your AC. I think that's pretty cool. And you can use a bonus action while in your defiled ground to gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. So, what do I think of this? I like it. I think it's pretty nifty, but to be completely honest, like, it just doesn't seem that, like, it seems like we should have gotten this at a lower level. Like, I feel like we could have gotten this when we got that other ability that gives you a +2 to your AC in your wild shape. Like, I'd rather have, like, this first part be a part of that subclass feature. Like, I feel like we could have done something a lot more interesting. And, like, up until now, everything pretty much synergized together. And this is, like, it does. You gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. Like, I guess. But, I mean, it's just not that interesting. So, as I previously mentioned in other videos, I am currently creating a warlock patron named Nardor the Withering Worm, an Archfey Moonstone Dragon. So he'd primarily be an Archfey Warlock patron. I'm going to be using him in a campaign that I'm joining, and in that game I was going to have Nardor be infected with some type of corruption that is causing him to slowly wither and decay, hence the Withering Worm. Originally I was going to be an Archfey Warlock, but this subclass seems like it would fit in way better. A Circle of the Blighted Druid gets its power from corruption, so I think it'd be very interesting to have a character get power from the thing that's killing his father figure, in this case, Nardor. All in all, I think the subclass is fantastic, and it synergizes a lot better than most. If I had to change only one thing, it would be Blighted Shape. Because of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, the Druid has the Wild Companion class feature. Basically allows you to summon a Fae via the Find Familiar spell, and it takes a use of your Wild Shape to do it. So instead of Blighted Shape affecting your Wild Shape, I would have it impact your summons. Or in this case, as I suggested before, you know, you take the what's it called? From your Incarnation of Corruption. Like, you take the +2 AC that you get yourself from that, and you toss it in Blighted Shape instead, and you get rid of the whole Wild Shape thing. And then it leaves you room to have your final subclass feature be something way more interesting. And the whole, like, gaining temporary hit points if you're in your Defile Grounds, like, the whole point of using that is to kind of, like, you know, you set up your Defile Ground, you attack a creature that's in it, you summon like a sapling because of that, and you get it to explode to do damage. Like, unless you're, like, outside of combat, I don't really see why you would want to be in your Defile Ground while in combat, because it's like the main purpose of it. Like, yeah, you know, you summon your Defile Ground, and, you know, on another turn you could remove it to you to gain temporary hit points. But it's like, again, like, this, I don't know. So I guess there's like two things I would change. The subclass basically encourages you to summon things. So I think it's weird to have an ability that impacts your wild shape. I don't know, it just seems a little out of place to me. But if the class, you know, in reverse, the class was supplementing wild shape like this, it clearly is with summons, then I'd be all for that. But it just seems to me that this class, you're getting your power from corruption, and you're, like, using that corruption on your enemies. Like, if you were using the corruption on yourself, then the wild shape stuff would make sense. But I don't know. I feel like they had a really, really good idea, but they were like, oh, it's a druid, we have to do something with wild shape, when I think they should have just stuck with synergizing with summons. But it's still an awesome subclass. I would still play this. Like, it seems like it would be a lot of fun. I just wouldn't really use wild shape that much. I mean, unless it was for, like, role-playing purposes or to traverse terrain or something like that. But I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments down below? Am I just picky? Am I just picky? Or is what I'm saying kind of making a little bit of sense? But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and also again, let me know if there's anything specific you want to see. I think someone was asking that I do a video on the vestiges of divergence. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that next or not, but I'm gonna definitely get to that. Thank you all again for the support. Thank you for swinging by. Thank you again to my subscribers who asked for this video. You asked and I delivered. Have yourselves a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one.